You're watching Her Mom's World TV.
Welcome to the second episode of A Mom's World TV. In today's episode, join us for a chat on the topic on grace-based parenting.
Training a child to become a matured individual is a long and arduous process. It can get challenging even for the wisest and the most experienced parents. Grace is training with love, patience, and generosity, even when the child does not deserve it.
In the past, we used to have a lot of problems getting Timothy out of bed, in the morning especially. It takes a long time for him to just freshen up and get up. So we need to do a lot of coaxing, persuading, threatening, until there were times that we need to punish him. And the whole morning just began very, very unpleasant. We decided that this shouldn't be the way to go on, because he's young. He will probably listen to us now, but what if when he's older, and if this habit perpetuates, it will be a very difficult task for us. So we decided to take a different approach.
Yes. Before I actually read about the concept of grace-based parenting, there was an instant. It was one of those days, where for nights we've been having very difficult nights where he's not been sleeping through. So I wasn't like in the best of moods. Neither was he the most cooperative.
Right.
So we were actually standing behind in one of the bakeries looking at the cakes. And he started throwing his tantrums. He said, "I want this, cake and all that." I tried to calm him down to say it nicely, what happened to your please, and things like that. He just went on and he just repeated the same thing.
Right.
And naturally, I lost my temper and not proud to say, I gave him a light smack across the face.
Right.
Okay.
So how did he react?
Oh, of course, started crying, burst into tears, and he just literally, "Mommy, carry me." It's very natural, because there are days where we just don't have that patience.
Especially when you have insufficient sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's how it happened. And I think that if I've actually made that effort to be a bit calm and try to be patient, it would have made a lot of difference.
Yes.
And then I think in that sense, being in a public place, I think sometimes you need to respect your child and yourself, because the woman behind the counter or the bakery,
I can imagine that
was like shocked, she was like, "Oh my goodness, what kind of mother is she?" That kind of response.
They probably don't know that you have, lost lack of sleep.
But I think regardless, not taking into account how people think of you, but rather think of your child's feelings and think of yourself as a parent. I think that's something that you need to be mindful about.
So what we did was, we try to make it fun for him. At least there is something to look forward to in a bright morning. And we will come into his room in a chirpy voice and say, "Oh, it's bright and shiny. Let's wake up and let's begin the day." And that was much easier. Although it still takes a bit of time, but given the patience and also the grace, by telling him in a nicer tone rather than commanding tone, it works better for us, and it works better, and it doesn't seem like a chore to him anymore in the morning, when it is something fun to wake up to in a day.
Yeah. So I think it really makes a difference when you actually take it good-naturedly in that sense.
Yeah. I guess applying patience is very important. We have to consciously remind ourselves to speak in a calm voice, and instead of being very uptight about the situations that we are being faced with. That way the child will also become, and it will be easier for them to take your instructions rather than being always reprimanded or being scolded for something that they are not doing.
That's right. Yeah.
So it makes life easier for all of us. So grace-based parenting came into play for us, which we find that it was very useful.
There was a recent incident I managed to apply grace-based parenting. Kyle is going through this stage where he just turned 4, and he's torn between being a little independent person and having to struggle to leave his babyhood in that sense. So there are days when he can get really clingy, and some days he's like, "No, I can do everything by myself," kind of attitude. There was one day, it was bedtime, and I had a great challenge in getting him to sleep. He was like tossing and turning on his bed for like an hour, and he was just complaining that, oh, my body's aching, my back's aching. So for like 1 hour I massaged him, you know, hoping that, you know, he'll feel better and he will drift off to sleep, but unfortunately he didn't. The next thing he complained was, my tooth hurts. That very night we went for a movie and we had popcorn. So I was thinking maybe some kernels are like lodged in his teeth or something like that. So I thought, let's try to get him to brush his teeth and brush his teeth again and see whether, you know, we can get that thing out and maybe he'll feel more comfortable. So I brought him to the bathroom, we brushed his teeth, we went back to bed. Then he told me that I'm okay now. My teeth doesn't hurt now. So okay, at that moment I suspected that, you know, he's pretending.